Day 1786.2. No water. Alone. And unafraid. Ah! Shit. Scared me. All right. The aliens made by Elon Musk are up there. We never saw them coming. But it'll be okay. Because we have the one rifle to rule them all. Let's go. The best rifle ever. Oh, fuel! My bag! Tactical supine! Oh, my Impro! Oh, God! Oh, they're gonna get me. Not today, suckers! Ah! Nope! Oh, no! Ah! 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 Oh, God. Okay. Oh, why'd you make me do that? That was so much running. Okay, we done with the skit? Okay. I'm gonna take this off. Okay. I gotta just. Whew. All right. Okay. So, I hope you guys appreciated all that effort just for you. Because it was hot. Very uncomfortable. I sweated a bunch. Whew. All right, you know what? I'll be right back. I'm gonna go change.
Oh, rubber ducky, you're the one. You make bath time lots of fun.
Okay, alive again. So today we are talking about one of my favorite topics, or perhaps the internet's favorite topic. What rifle is best? If you could only have one rifle, what would it be? Well, I don't know what you'd say because this is a one-way conversation. Well, for me, I've answered that question with this bad boy right here. So let's talk about it. So the base rifle here is a Modern Material 14.5 Ace. So the Ace is their premier line of rifle, and it's got a lot of their secret sauce. So there's a lot of AR builders out there. There's a lot of very high quality rifles. So what they do, they specialize in very specifically well-designed from an engineering standpoint, gas system. So they've got a custom profile barrel. This is a ballistic advantage barrel. They now have moved over to using Roscoe barrels, which are fantastic. And they have their own gas port, their own spec'd out gas tube, and they do a little bit of work in the buffer and buffer spring. And it's nothing that's not gonna run all your ammunition. I've shot absolutely everything from super cheap steel cased Russian 55 grain to Black Hills 77 grain. This runs absolutely everything, and it runs it flawlessly. So that is the base gun. They did a great job there, and that's why I picked it. I've been shooting this gun for about 5 years now, as is. 0 parts breakage, and all the malfunctions have been primarily due to either me putting stuff into the chamber that's not supposed to be there or magazine issues. So cannot say enough good things about this rifle as a base gun. Now, why does that matter? Like I said, there's a lot of nice guns out there. Well, one of the chief concerns that I had was if I only have one rifle, the idea behind that whole concept is I have to do serious work, what guns were designed to do with this rifle. And that means ammo availability is probably going to be a challenge, and you're gonna have to shoot what you can find or what you have on hand. And for most of us, that is 55 grain of some variety. And so making sure that I had a rifle that would absolutely eat everything out of every standard kind of magazine out there was a priority for me, and this rifle will do that. So that's why I picked it. Starting up here at the front, we're seeing the barrel profile here. This is sort of a medium contour barrel. Like I said, it is their design, so it's not sort of your one of your standard profiles out there. But basically, it's that good balance between being able to handle a high volume of fire, cooling, accuracy, all that good stuff. And for me, this has been an exceptionally accurate gun. Typically, it's going to shoot more accurately than I can, which fair enough, may not be saying much, but the gun will absolutely do work. Also, let's talk about the barrel length. Why did I go with 14.5? A lot of people say, well, that's the shortest you can go with a permanently attached muzzle device and get around the whole NFA issue in the United States. And while that is true, there's also some ballistic advantages, no pun intended, to a 14.5 barrel. And that is going to be that you're going to get more velocity than you're going to get out of your shorter barrels, obviously, but you're still not having a 16-inch or longer barrel that can be challenging when you're moving in and out of vehicles or in tight spaces, buildings, that kind of stuff. This is definitely still manageable in your classic CQB environment, home defense, however you'd like to think about that sort of gunfighting scenario. The 14.5 absolutely still is short enough to do work even with the can, but if I want to stretch it out, and we'll talk about that in a minute, I still have the ballistic capabilities from 55 grain all the way up to the heavier rounds to go out and reach targets as far as I'm going to on the East Coast. Up front, I have a Huxworks can. This is actually from their OSS days, so it's one of their legacy cans. I chose that because, in my personal humble opinion, this is the absolute, hands down, best rifle can out there, at least that we have available in the States. Maybe there's some European magic out there I don't know about, but the flow-through design minimizes my back pressure, it minimizes wear on my gun, and it minimizes gas ejection from the gas port and around the charging handle, so I don't have to worry about getting gassed out indoors or in those weird environmental conditions where the gas sort of just sits around you. It cleans itself really easily. It's got a taper mount, so it's not going to get locked on, and the flash hider works great if I do take it off. So can't say enough good things about Huxworks. Super dig their cans, and their new flow stuff is even better than their legacy cans, so there you go. Moving back, we have a Cloud Defensive Rain 3.0. Again, I've tried every light out on the market, and I have settled on Cloud, and I've moved to Cloud on every single platform I'm able to, and when they release their pistol light, I'll put that on my pistol as well. In my opinion, you just can't beat Cloud. They've got the rechargeable batteries, their throw and spill is amazing, their candela is fantastic. This is a fighting light. When we took a night vision class a little while ago, hands down, this was the best light on the line, and there was every manufacturer out there represented, and this thing absolutely crushed. I have the mount set up on the swivel mount from Overbore Systems, or Overbore Solutions, I apologize to them. I have this sort of set up in the way it makes sense for me and works for me with the OGL. It's not technically the way that they had it designed to work, but it works great for me. And the neat thing about that mount is it kind of obviously works how they intended and however else you want to put it on there. On top here, we do have the amazing OGL, that's the on-gun laser from EOTECH, and I love this. This thing is, again, probably the best aiming laser you can put on a rifle. And obviously we're going to do a whole lot of other content with this, but this thing is absolutely fantastic. I know you can't see it because it's covered up by the goon tape, but I do have the Unity Tactical Axon. And again, this gives me the power authority of choice that works for me. I know there's a lot of different ideas out there on whether you should or should not run pressure switches. I didn't for years because in Afghanistan I had some concerns and issues having unintentional or negligent discharges with lights, and that's obviously a concern in an operational environment with the old tape switches from Surefire. However, with the Axon, it's guarded and fenced, and the buttons have a decent amount of pressure you need to apply to them before you actually activate the lighter laser, and so I have never had any NDs at all with my lighter laser, and obviously that's an area of responsibility. It's no different than firing your weapon negligently. You have to be responsible for every round you put down range and every time you're emitting from your rifle. And so the Axon allows me to have a high degree of safety and security and still have that ambidextrous power authority, whether I'm going left or right-handed, it's right there. Down here, I've got the old school Unity Vert Grip. Love that thing. They don't make them anymore. They have an updated version, which is also great, but this thing just still works, and so it's still on my gun. All this black stuff up here is goon tape. Underneath of it, I actually have some Magpul M-Lock heat shields as well, and I put that on there because one, the heat shield's there to, well, help with heat mitigation, and then the goon tape helps with grip, it helps with heat mitigation, and it has all my cable management all tied up, so I get 3 benefits from a single solution. Love that stuff, and as it sort of wears and frays, you just replace it because it's a roll of tape, and I keep a roll of tape in my kit. Moving back the piece de resistance, is the EXPS 3-0 on the Unity riser with the G45 on the Unity flip to center. On top of these, I do have the Ranger wraps just for some fun, because first rule is look cool. And so it makes it look neat and puts colors on my optic. I think that's fun. Why did I choose the 3-0 and why did I choose the G45? 3-0, hands down my favorite reticle. It works great for holdovers. It's got negative and positive leads built into the reticle. One of the things that we're known for, single MOA dot in the middle, super refined aiming point. I dig it. It works great. And I chose the G45 because I do have the ballistic capability, depending on my rounds, to stretch out a little bit farther than what I'd like to have for a 3X magnifier. So instead of doing the G43, I did the G45, and it works great on the flip to center mount. Obviously it goes down, gets out of the way, it's very streamlined, and it's a wonderful solution. Back here, my charging handle, it's branded Modern Material. It's actually a Radian charging handle, but I love these Radian charging handles. They're great, they're ambidextrous, and they work great, great gas mitigation, and you don't miss it. The safety is a 45-degree throw. I've really become a fan of that. It's just faster, and man, it just works great. So that is it's a personal choice. I know some people like the 90s. I really enjoy the 45s. And then I have the simple, I don't even remember the model name of it, but it's the sort of like entry-level hyperfire trigger in that. It's, again, this is completely stock as the gun came, and it works great for me. Had zero issues. It's single stage. I know a lot of people, when they're shooting longer ranges, tend to like 2 stages. For me, I'm just a big fan of single stage. It allows me to shoot very quickly at close and intermediate distances, and I've been on the trigger long enough, and I've learned this gun well enough now that I can control it just fine for longer range shooting. And again, like, what are we talking about with longer range, right? 2, 3, 4, maybe 500 meters. Again, I live on the East Coast. You don't get an opportunity to shoot that far anyway. And once you start, getting into the transonic area of 5.56, you're gonna start running into some, effects on target concerns for terminal ballistics with that round anyway. Moving down, we've got the Mission First Tactical Grip. Again, it came like it on the gun like this. I enjoy it. Good grip angle. It's very similar to the BCM grips, and so worked great for me. I do like a more vertical grip. It just helps when your modern weapons manipulation, the way you should be running your gun. I really enjoy it. This does have the apparently uber contentious forward assist. I understand that Eugene Stoner didn't want to put that originally on the gun. I like it. I grew up in the Marine Corps. It was part of our manual of arms. If you don't want one on your gun, don't put one on your gun. Buy an upper without one. But for me, I enjoy having the forward assist, and doesn't really add that much weight anyway. And then on the back here, we just have the Mission First Tactical stock. Again, I've left this gun completely stock as it came from Modern Material, and works super well for me. There's a bunch of great stocks out there. I don't really think that matters. And then on the other side, the last interesting bit, this is a Basecamp Kilo sling, and I've run a ton of different slings, from literally making my own out of 550 cord to just about everyone out there. This is my favorite sling by a mile. Maybe there's some other slings that have a retention system like this I'm not aware of, but basically you've got this little elastic slider that has your excess, and then there's a buckle here on the back. So I can just pop that, and the sling comes out. It's pre-sized. The adjustments are super fast and easy to do. So you've got a little pull tab here, right? Boom. And it's great, man. I really, really enjoy it. I do have it out on QD up here at the front. I know some people want to run the sling back near the receiver. I like running my sling out front because I can use it as a support to wrap my hand up and get more stable shooting position. And then obviously back here, I just have it wrapped around with a loop so it hangs better on my body. And that is my rifle setup. So this is my one gun to rule them all, but why, right? So I touched a little bit on the ballistic choices that I made based on 14.5, what 5.56 will do. I don't know really where the whole idea that 5.56 does not work on small, medium game and people, but let me tell you, it super duper does. I have zero issues with the capabilities of 5.56 as a defensive round. And so 14.5 gives me everything I want to do up close. It gives me all the range I'm going to need for my environment and where I live. So I think it works great. I did go with the EXPS 3 and the magnifier because as long as you know your holds and you've been doing your training, you understand what the round is going to do, you don't actually need magnification to shoot. Magnification is used a lot for observation, and it's great. But I have a 5x magnifier if I need to do some observation. If I want to have a higher degree of confidence in the shot I'm going to take at distance, I can flip the magnifier up. But honestly, just understanding your ballistics and understanding your holds is kind of what you need to do to shoot at most ranges where you're going to be taking shots that you really can't afford to miss. Now, there is obviously the option to put an LPVO on here, but I really felt that the speed and accuracy that I could get out of the EXPS3 was really what I needed. And like I said, I've got the magnifier if I really need it. And I do have a thermal handheld if I want to do some more deliberate searching, observation, that kind of stuff. I keep that on my kit, so that's another option. So, use cases. What do I envision being able to do with this rifle? Well, as I alluded to in the beginning of the video, the one rifle to rule them all, I can kind of do whatever I need to do, whatever I expect that myself, from a where I live, capability standpoint, and the realistic threats that I assess in my environment, I can address all of those with this gun. So, yes, I have a shorter AR. Yes, I have a DMR. They serve very specific roles, and they do those roles better because they're purpose built. And the whole adage, of jack of all trades, master of none, that's kind of this rifle's deal. That's my thought process here, is that yes, I could choose a specific weapon for a specific task if you have the ability and opportunity, but the whole purpose of the video and the purpose behind this rifle, which is one of my first guns I ever got, was why am I going to build a gun that can do everything that I need it to do? What do I expect to have to do with this gun? So, like I said before, I can do CQB with this gun, and I can shoot this out to I think I shot this out to about 650, and I've done it. I can put this in my truck. Would it be a little bit easier to fit in my car if I put like a law folder on here? Sure, but I don't actually need that. It works just fine next to the console. I can break it down and put it in a bag and fly with it. I can put it in a backpack broken down. I can carry it all day long on patrol if I need to do something like that. It's not very heavy. You're balancing all these considerations. So again, and there's, with my background in the infantry, the green set operations, in the Marine Corps, we were running M16 A4s, 22-inch barrels. Those things were huge. And I wish I had this. Let me tell you, like, the difference in ballistic capability of that rifle versus this one is negligible for all the distances that we were engaging at. When we started stretching up farther and farther, we had different weapon systems for that. So the whole sort of purpose behind this gun was, it's small enough to still do CQB, it's small enough to still go in a vehicle if I need it to. It's a little big to go in a bag as is, but I can just pull the two pins and break it in half. It doesn't take long to put back together. You can even do that and run a mag. You can run a fully loaded mag in here and pop the two pins in, run the bolt, and you're good to go if you really want to have as quickly a deployable weapon as possible without putting a folder on it. I didn't put a folder on this because it does introduce a little bit of wobble. You just can't do anything about that. You're putting a hinge point on the gun. And that can be a little annoying when you're working with the gun a lot or you're doing some more precision-oriented shooting. So I chose not to do that. I just want this thing to be as rock solid as possible. That's my thought process. The why behind this build was that it sacrifices a little bit of length for some ballistic capability at range, but it maintains a lightweight profile, and it's still short enough to do stuff at close range. It's still small enough to do stuff within a vehicle if I need to. So is there anything that I would change on this gun or do if I could? Yeah, I would probably, after using it for a few years, I'd probably switch over to a BCM stock of some variety. Nothing necessarily wrong with this stock. I just like the fact of having some storage, maybe like a SOP mod, or like I said, the BCM stocks. Having a little battery storage in the stock's nice, and I like the cheek or chin weld you can get on the stocks just a little bit more, but again, it works just fine. The only other thing I would do with this gun, if I could, is put a M203 on it, because those things are amazing and super useful. Yes, I know technically I could apply for all the licensing and do that. However, money is still a thing, and so I have not. But yeah, a grenade launcher on this would be great. But hey, grenades are awesome anyway. So this is my one rifle to rule them all, my 14.5 of Doom. Tell me what you think about this down in the comments, and I want to hear about what your one rifle is. What did you do? And more importantly, tell me why. Let's actually have an interesting conversation about this and try to keep the hate and discontent to a minimum in the comments if you can. But if not, I'm there for that too. Thank you so much for watching. Train hard, live free. See you next time.